Well, hello everybody. This time of year, the weeks just fly by. And once again, I find myself flying over the Point McKenzie agricultural project. And as I look down on the various farms, it's pretty easy to tell who is cutting hay. At this point, quite a few farms have already cut hay and it's growing back again, and some farms are just getting around to cutting hay. There's definitely a lot of thought goes into it. You want to make sure you pick the right window that's going to be long enough for the hay to dry. And you obviously want to cut as much hay as you can, but you don't want to get too much on the ground. And they want to make sure they get it baled up and either put in a barn or wrapped up, because everybody knows the rain is coming. And it is great to see all the activity, people out working the land. Just coming into the screen, kind of on the lower right, is a long rectangular field. And I could see a tractor down there mowing hay. Not exactly sure how big that field is, but it's pretty good size. Somebody's betting a lot of time and effort on making a bunch of hay. Hope it all worked out for them. And just like that, it's a beautiful Saturday morning, and we're making the drive to the farm. I always get so excited when I've been away from the farm for a few days to see how things are doing. And it's even double exciting now because they're working on the road. So I get to see the progress they've made on the road as well. The day's starting off about 50 degrees. There is not a cloud in the sky. And it's going to be in the mid-70s, might even be 80 today, which is good. We'll take it. We don't have very many more weeks of this kind of weather. Then we'll start the slide towards fall. Well, before I started my chores for the day, I thought I'd grab a little video of Dave heading over to do some mulching. Sometimes I get so caught up in my work, I forget to get the camera out and take some video. It definitely puts wear and tear on the machine to drive it back and forth across the farm every day. But the trailer is a central location, has all the tools we need to work on it, and the fuel and the fluids. But there is one thing I believe most all skid steers could use, and that would be interior storage space. There's really not any good place to put your lunch, but everybody gets a little creative and finds a spot where they can put their lunch bag. Can't wait till September when we can burn these piles. What a beautiful view looking across the lake back towards the corn. We better hurry up and get ahead of Dave. This is all going to look very different in a couple of months. 1st of October, they'll be putting roads in. It'll be kind of fun to look back after the roads are in and the land is all cleared to see what it used to look like. Well, with that, Dave's off to work for the day clearing, and I'm going to head back to the trailer and take care of some chores that need to get done. On my way back across the farm, I stopped to check out the peas. They've been flowering for a week or two now. They're actually kind of pretty. And I know the bees sure like them. I don't know, what do you think? Maybe a leak? We probably ought to get that hose changed. Let's get her done. More than likely a stick came up and hit the hose. That's okay, I got another one. We'll get her changed out. It's not too bad. Got a new one here to go on. We'll get it changed. Well, the first fitting was pretty easy to get off, The second one was definitely hid up in front of the engine, kind of out of the way. But luckily, we had a crow's foot and the wrench, and I was able to get busted loose and change it out. Okay, well, I got that one changed. No, I didn't get much of it on tape. Okay, checked for leaks. No leaks on the power steering hose replaced, so that's good. Need to change oil on this tractor, and then we have a hydraulic pump seal that's leaking on the dozer. Got that to handle as well. It's a pretty sunny day. It's a good day for pulling some maintenance. I'd much rather be out in the field doing something than working on tractors and dozers, but I'd also rather be doing it today when it's sunny than if it's rainy or windy or nasty. So we're gonna get this handled. Dave's out mulching on one of the parcels, so I'll get busy. We stay pretty consistent on our maintenance. At a minimum, we change fluids when the manufacturer recommends. And generally when it comes to the engine oil, we do it a little bit before it's supposed to be changed. This equipment gets worked pretty hard in pretty adverse conditions, so keeping the fluids clean is very important. Normally we use filters and oil that we get from the manufacturer, whether it's from Caterpillar or from John Deere. The filters and fluids don't cost much more than the aftermarket, and especially when it comes to the filters, the quality of the filter is generally significantly better with an OEM or original manufacturer filter. That being said, there are plenty of good aftermarket filters out there, and virtually all of the oil and fluids produced will meet the minimum specifications for a particular piece of equipment. So whether you buy it from the dealer or you get it from the big box store, it's important to keep that oil changed. Okay, now it's time to move over to the little dozer. There's the hydraulic pump bolted to the front of the engine just under the radiator. It's got a pretty good leak on it, so we can get that out and find out what is leaking. One thing about this little dozer, it's pretty easy to work on, which is kind of nice. And it's old and wore out, so there's a lot of working on it. Okay, pumps out. You can see, for some reason the seal popped out, so we're going to see what we need to do to get that put back in. The seal is relatively cheap. Whether it's with the new equipment or with the old equipment, you find yourself, when you break something, when you buy another one, you get one or two spares. Because you know if you break it once, you're probably going to break it again. Definitely need a new pump. This happens a lot with O-rings, hydraulic hoses, and in this case, seals for the pump on the dozer. It's not really something you can plan for because you're not sure what you're going to break. But fortunately, we haven't broke a lot of stuff and things have been going pretty smooth for the most part. Although when it comes to the really old wore out dozer, if I can operate it 8 hours without having to fix something on it, I consider that a win. It's a hot one today, 80 degrees, a little over. As I was getting ready to start the irrigation pump, I looked out in the lake and noticed something strange moving back and forth. There was a very large otter and seemed to be a little bit agitated with us. And this particular otter hung around the rest of the evening, and we even saw it some the next day. It was extremely curious and would watch us. It never got really too close. It kept its distance, but was always looking. I'm not sure how big a territory they have, but I do know they're always on the move. But it sure was a lot of fun to get to sit and watch him for a little while. There's no fish in this pond, so I'm not sure what it was doing there, but there was a very large number of ducks and ducklings. So that may have been what drew this particular otter to this lake. Either way, he didn't seem too bothered by us, and I'm sure he's going to be back. Well, by this point, most all of the corn that is large and mature is starting to silk, which is good. If you haven't been around corn plants, it's amazing how fast they grow and how fast they develop. It is definitely a sight to see. Good morning. It is Sunday, the 21st of July. It'll be a beautiful morning. Weatherman says somewhere a little over 80 degrees today. It's about 6 in the morning. The sun is up. Time to get the day started. Everybody's having a great day. Ravens are talkative. No idea what that was all about. Road's looking good. We're getting a fair bit done. It's always a little rough and a little messy when they're doing construction on a road, but it's going to all be worth it. It's going to be incredible when they're done. So it's looking pretty good. They're almost to the second small bridge, making good progress. They've got about 6 weeks till hunting season. I believe their goal is to have this done before hunting season.
Dogs are having a good time this morning.
18 is what we're getting.
Cleaning the skid steer.
The skid steer had been getting a little warm, and we do a good job of blowing the radiator out every day when we're doing our morning maintenance. But it appears slowly over time the radiator's just filled up, probably a combination of dirt and maybe tree sap. So it was time to take the pressure washer and give it a good washing. Didn't particularly want to get the engine bay that wet, but there wasn't much of any other way to spray it out. And it definitely did make a difference by cleaning it out. But there were a few spots that were plugged up. We've got a plan for that coming up.
We're taking the dozer over to another lot. Hey everybody, so you'll see some pink flagging behind me. This is blueberry patch we're going to keep for the farm. This is the parcel 20. So I'm going to mark them with the flagging, and then of course I'm going to put these up. So that's what I'm doing now. So let's go.
This is about 1/4 to 1/3 of an acre patch that is pretty thick with blueberries. So we figured we'd flag it so we don't run over it with the mulcher or the dozer. Be kind of handy to have a patch of blueberries. Well, just chipping away at one of the 20-acre parcels, mainly trying to collect all the logs that fell over after the fire and push over any of the standing trees and get them piled up so we can burn them this fall. And trying as much as possible not to disturb the dirt. That's why you'll see a lot of brush still sticking up. We can come back with the mulcher and mulch the brush up. This is just a way of speeding it up a little bit. And the dozer's relatively cheap to operate. It doesn't use a whole lot of fuel. And in some cases it makes more sense to push the logs up and burn them than mulch them. And we're down to our last 3 parcels, which is about 63 acres to clear. Not sure if we're going to have it all done by the time freeze up happens, but we'll get as much as we can. And what we don't get to, it'll be waiting for us next spring. But every pass with the dozer blade and we get a little more cleared.
What's it gonna do, Bell Bell? You digging a hole? You hot dog? She says he's a hot dog. What about you, Dusty Dog? You hot? Rosie's hot? Yeah, I saw that.
Well, after taking a little break and stretching my legs, it's time to wade through the brush and climb back on the dozer. Okay, it is 1 o'clock Sunday. Well, it is a warm one today. It is about 1 o'clock on Sunday the 21st. A little over 80 degrees, 81, 82. Might hit 84, 85 before the end of the day. But a beautiful day nonetheless. Dave's been out mulching all day, so he's busy doing that. I did some dozer work. Had a visitor to the farm. We had to show somebody around. A lot of fun. I'm going to go disc for a little while. I'm going to make use of the air conditioning on the cab. It's kind of nice on days like today. So things are coming along quite nicely. An absolutely beautiful day. You gotta love interior Alaska. Here's a little glimpse of how the corn is doing in the garden at the house. As you can see, it's a little taller, looks a little nicer. Within a year or two, the corn out at the farm should look about the same way. It'll take us several years to get those fields whipped into shape.
So catch us on Instagram and Facebook and the channel, and you will hear where we're going to be at. Those will be the areas to find out where the corn will be available to be purchased. Talk to y'all later.
Sure would like to thank everybody for watching. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Almost to 1,000 subscribers, which is a pretty big deal. From everybody out here at the farm, thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.